Very tired today, guys, but I just wanted to give you an update of Azariah. So we had all gotten, I know, I'm looking out the window. It's distracting, isn't it? I know. I'm tired. I don't want to look at myself in the camera, to be honest with you. My eyes are like swollen. I don't even know. I've had like allergies, so my eyes have been so itchy, runny nose. Then on top of that, people have had colds. I just feel like I have had weeks of, yeah. I do not take allergy medicine. It was mentioned before why I don't take allergy medicine. I do not take allergy medicine for various reasons, but I actually cannot function if I take allergy medicine. I am very, very sensitive to any medication. So if I take any allergy medicine, I would just be sleeping. And how can I be sleeping when I'm the only one to care for my son? Yeah. My girls do help. They do. But to be able to give 100% of his care, that's me, myself, and I. 3 of me. Wouldn't it be nice if I could make 3 of me? Okay, so trying to update you guys because I know that you've been praying. I'm so thankful that you guys have been praying. It's just been great to know that there was people that I could reach out to. He had a little bit of a cough that, Thursday afternoon. I actually had to bring my sweet pea to the pediatrician for the first time, and her new pediatrician is actually Azariah's pediatrician. So we were talking for a minute. She didn't see any concerns like with him or whatever. She didn't like inspect him, but it's not like she was like, oh yes, I mean, he coughed a couple of times while he was in the office. I explained he had a cold and like, we're just trying to do this, no fever at that point, yada yada. So that night he kept, I suctioned him out and he kept desatting, which means that his oxygen levels were going down. So I had to bump up his baseline oxygen. So I bumped him from, he's normally on 1/2 liter, and I bumped him up to 3/4 liter. And he did okay all night, but he was still ranging from like 90 to 92. Normally he is at 97 to 100, so it was off for him. I suctioned him out again in the morning. I tried to call just to see if somebody could take a listen to his lungs. So first I called his pediatrician. I think it's hard when you have a complex child because you're not entirely sure who I'm supposed to call at what point. So I called and I spoke to the pediatrician. So I called the office. His pediatrician wasn't in that day, and but spoke to nursing because I was like, can I just get him seen so somebody could listen to his lungs, whatever. And they felt that he should go to an ER so he could get an x-ray of his lungs. So called Boston, talked to complex care. They said yes, come on down. So we came on down. We are kind of in between hospitals, not really in between. So Boston is about 1.5 hours south of us, and then Main Med is about 45 minutes north of us. But our interactions with Main Med are okay, but it's not very specialized. So like when they do services, it could be like adult and child. Not too many people have dealt with complex care issues. Their complex care team at Main Med is a new system. Yeah, so there's just a lot of things that is like new, as in Azariah was probably like their first or second patient. So there's just a lot. So I called, they said, yeah, come down. So I came down, and on the way down, it's so hard. I'm driving. I have to have somebody in the back with him if you're driving, because like if he's desatting or he's choking, even if he's not like sick, if he starts choking or vomiting or anything like that, we just have to take him out of the seat. And usually that ends up being like take him out of the seat, situate him, put him back in. For a while I was trying to like pull over every single time that happened, and that is ideally the situation. But if a child who is complex like this, it's a squirrel like right there. complex like this, he, you can't necessarily wait to pull over. That's just the reality of things. So, need somebody next to him. My daughter went next to him, and she was like, he was desatting, and I was like, give me the numbers, and he kept desatting. We ended up bumping up his oxygen to 1.5 through quarter and then through quarter intervals. So he was at 3/4, then we moved him up to 1.5. So by the time we got to the hospital, he was at 1.5 liters, which was weird because you could actually hear the air coming out of it. Because he's on such a low flow, you normally can't hear the air coming out of it. So they were really great when we got in there. We were able to get right in, and so he was seen right away, which was great. Not seen right away, but like in an area. It wasn't very busy in there, which was nice. And the complex care had already talked to them about what was going on, but they got us into an x-ray probably within like 15 minutes or so, and they just got him seen. It took a lot longer to get his blood work because he's such a hard stick. So it took about 1.5 hours to get his blood. They tried to get his blood. Originally, they were going to get his blood and do an IV line in the same thing, but it wouldn't draw off of it, but then it would flush in. So they kept that as an IV line, and then I had to get another line off his foot. His poor foot today is like this big purple mess. Big bruise, poor bubby. Anyway, that's what happened. So they were able to draw some blood off of it, and so it was decided, like right after he had that they could see some pneumonia in his lungs, or starts of pneumonia in his lungs, from the x-ray. And then they did the blood work. So they had told us, what do you want? Like, they asked me, like, do you want to give him just an oral antibiotic and then take him home, or do you want him to have like an IV antibiotic overnight and then go home tomorrow morning? Like, how do you want to work this? And I said, well, we just spent all that time giving him an IV. I don't want to get home and then have to come back and then have to redo an IV. I mean, it literally took over an hour to get an IV in the poor baby's arm. So I was like, I guess we'll stay over. So trying to make arrangements to stay over. I had my daughter with me. And so I have sweet friends right outside of Boston, and they said, yeah, your daughter can definitely come over, which is so sweet. They like literally just had a son get married the other day, only a few days ago, and I'm sure they have tons of stuff and are exhausted from all of that. And they're like, oh no, come on over. Really, really appreciate that. So she's like, we situated everything. So then I tell them, okay, this is what we're going to do. So then they start the IV of the antibiotic, and they gave him the antibiotic. And then it took 10 minutes for the antibiotic to go in. And so then they switched doctors. So the new doctor came in around, I think it was like 3:30 in the afternoon. We had got there at like 10:30 in the morning. So he came in and he says, so my understanding is you're waiting for a bed, yada, yada. And I was like, yeah. I was like, so how often is he going to be getting the antibiotic? Because I thought that it was like a continuous antibiotic. I guess I was a little confused with the wording maybe. And he's like, oh, well, he'll just be switched over to an oral antibiotic in the morning. And I was like, so what will he get overnight? And they're like, no, that the antibiotic that they just gave him, amlodipine or something like that, is a 24-hour antibiotic, and it covers like a broad base range. And because all his other tests, like his COVID, his flu, all that type of stuff came back negative, then he would just be put on an oral antibiotic tomorrow morning. And I was like, okay, so I'm thinking in my head, and I was like, so then why am I here? So if he's gonna go on oral tomorrow morning, like, can I just go home? He's like, I don't see why not. Let me just go talk to them. I was thinking that I was staying because it was going to be a continuous IV medication. But where it was going to be an oral medication, I was like, maybe we can just go home. It's just, Azariah sleeps so, well, he doesn't sleep. So it's a lot easier for me to sit up with him most of the night in my own comfort of my own home. And then not have to drive the next day as well. So that's what we did. We came home last night. He did okay. So during that whole time, I didn't even say this. So during the whole time, they're so funny. They're like, yeah, go ahead and do whatever. Like, here, if you want to put him on oxygen on the wall, this is how you do it. Use our suction, do whatever you want to do. So they just showed me how to use the machine so I would be able to do that whenever needed. And I didn't even say this. On the way down to the hospital, I think part of the issue is I only had one mushroom tip for suctioning out his nose. That's how I get most of the secretions out. I only had one, and I've been asking him. I asked the tech a couple weeks ago, can you get me some more? Because I only have one. I've only had two ever, and my first one got ruined. Sometimes the snot gets stuck in there and you suction up. There was like a crusty snot or something like midway through the thing, and I had to throw it away. I tried soaking it. I tried sticking like a needle or a toothpick into it. I could not get that booger out. And so I ended up having to throw that one away. So I only had one, and he got the wrong size tips. So then I gave him like the comparison like in a picture, and he said, okay, we'll order those in. So those are being ordered in, but meanwhile, I only have one tip. So on the rush to get out with all the equipment and yada yada, I mean, we have to bring meds and suction and, monitors and all this stuff. And they're like, well, you probably should try to like hurry up and do this. Okay, so let's try to hurry up and do this. And so when he needed the suction halfway down, I didn't have a tip to suction him. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why we had to bump him up so high. So we tried the other tip. I did have a backup of the other tip, but it did not work. I tried to suction his mouth with like a catheter type suction, just not working. So yeah. Once we got into the hospital, I suctioned him out really good. The nurse helped me out. She gave me a couple of bullets to like just get in there. She's like, oh, you got some really thick pleas, little man. And yeah, so we got him really suctioned out well. And so she's like, yeah, just, what am I trying to say? So he got suctioned well. And so I started to, after he had like his procedures done that needed to happen, then I started to wean his oxygen a little bit. I was like, I bet we could probably go down a little bit. So by the time we left last night, he was actually back down to half a liter. Kept on top of his suctioning and that type of stuff. Cute little tidbit. Azariah likes to laugh at the funniest times. So he's laying there, poor little bugger, and we weren't. I was standing there with him trying to talk to him and just so he could be calm and stuff. And they were trying to get the ultrasound to see the veins and all that all those things. And so he's like, she goes, are you hiding your veins on me? And he's like, ha 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 ha. And then she goes, oh my goodness, they think you are. And then he was like belly laughing. It was so funny. So we were back home. They said it's okay for me to go back up to the 1.5 liters if he needed it. He didn't need it. He did so good overnight. He was maintaining like 98, making sure that I'm suctioning him frequently. And yeah, so he just is feeling good. He napped yesterday afternoon. He was so sweet. He just like, he fell asleep on me, and then he was just napping, and I laid him down on the bed. So sweet. Anyhow, that's the update with him. He's doing well overall. I mean, he's in a good mood, and we caught it really early. They said like it just was starting to develop into pneumonia. So I am very thankful that we caught it early and that it just all worked out. Very thankful for the team at Boston Children's and to my children who helped do all the things that needed to happen when I wasn't here or helped me with the baby in Boston. Very thankful. But that is our update for the day. Oh my goodness. Hello, eyes. My eyes just want to sleep. I'm gonna go take care of the baby. I need to go make bottles. I started before all of this, I started like this major organization thing. So now I'm like mentally struggling because I'm just tired and I have stuff what feels like everywhere. But I kind of got, this is the, I'm in the mudroom right now. It's not super organized, but it looks a heck of a lot cleaner than it was. So yeah, I'm sitting on that bench that I had here. And currently I just put mud stuff in the bench. Not entirely sure how I'm going to manage it for the winter. I think I'm gonna see and look on Marketplace to see if I can find another bench. And then maybe we could do, I don't know. Those 2 red bins from my other organization that I cleaned out. Those I actually put big socks and small socks in, but those are in front of the other windows. So yeah, clean it up. And then, I know, guys, I literally just made that playroom in the other room and it just was not working out. So I tore through it all again, and I will share that with you guys later. But just to know, my house looks like a hot mess right now. So although I'd love to like lay down and take a nap, I'm gonna attend to that and drink some coffee. I hope y'all have a blessed and wonderful day. How do you feel, Azariah? You mad because you want to snuggle? See his foot. Poor buddy. Was it terrible? Yeah. Poor thing, you need a big snuggle. You do.